Actually, I have a good reaction, and the hares constantly crossing the road have never got under my wheels. But as recently as Saturday, a black cat jumped under my wheel. It came from absolutely nowhere. There are no bushes by the side of the road in that place, and I was not driving in the extreme lane. The cat seemed to materialize right in front of the car, completely black and fast as lightning. I saw her for a split second before she mysteriously disappeared under the car. I didn't even have time to put my foot on the brake. I ran over her with both the front and rear wheels. The car bounced like on a bump, twice. Then there was the most interesting part. I didn't see the squashed cat in the rearview mirror. I stopped in surprise and examined the road behind the car for a long time. It was empty. The cat disappeared as quickly as it appeared. I thought maybe it got stuck somewhere under the car or wound up on a wheel. I carefully examined the gap under the car and the wheels, but she was not there either. It's kind of mystical, I thought. I was home in a couple of minutes. I brought the groceries I bought into the kitchen and suddenly felt that it hurt to breathe. My chest and back were gripped like a hoop. I just couldn't move. Any movement hurt. I couldn't even lift an empty hand, let alone pick up an object. There was a sharp pain in the back immediately. I spent the whole weekend reclining. The muscles of the back seemed to cramp. Neither ointments nor attempts at massage helped. The hot bath helped a little. On the third day, I felt noticeably better. At least I could lift light objects. A spoon, fork, and glass. I have never had such pains. I am quite healthy. Where did they come from? And so strongly, and so suddenly. It only recently occurred to me that my feelings were as if I had been crushed by a car. I have one friend, Sasha, who works as a driver of a large truck. As a rule, he drives not far away and is always alone, without a partner. That time he offered me a ride with him. I did not refuse. I decided to take a ride to see the world and show myself. In general, we went to the neighboring region. It was late in the evening. It was hot. It was summer. The track was almost empty. For many kilometers, there is only the highway along the edges of its wide ditches, and beyond them, the forest. All the time. Christmas trees. We have already left the last settlement a little far. It was getting dark, but it was still light enough to see what was happening on the road. Suddenly, we noticed that there is something white right ahead on the highway. We drove closer. We look, and this guy is voting. He's dressed in light trousers and a white shirt, empty in his hands, without means of transportation, just a guy. How did he get here? Did you walk all the way? Or was it dropped off by someone? In any case, there were no other cars besides us, and we decided to stop and help if possible. Since we were driving pretty fast, we couldn't stop right away. We passed the guy. We stopped and waited. We thought he would run up to the cabin himself now, but a couple of minutes passed, but the guy didn't show up. We look out the window. No one in the mirrors too. Where did the guy go? What if we knocked it down by accident when we were braking? Well, Sasha got out of the cab and went to look, and I'm watching out the window. I look. I turned behind the truck and disappeared from sight. 30 seconds have passed. Sasha flies out from behind the truck at breakneck speed, rushes to the cabin, takes off behind the wheel in a matter of seconds, locks up all the locks, and immediately takes off. I can't understand anything. Where's the guy? What happened? Why the rush? In a panic, I start asking questions, and Sasha just shakes his head and mumbles. He also waves his hand and shouts obscenities that he will tell you everything later. It even seemed to me for a moment that my friend even began to stutter. Well, that's it, I think. We hit that guy and fled the scene. Now I'm an accomplice, and if they find us, it won't seem enough to anyone. She was already upset and fell silent, and Sasha keeps driving. I've already wound up 10 kilometers in a hurry, but I'm not stopping. And along the way, as luck would have it, there is only a highway and a forest. At least what kind of village it would seem. So we drove, or rather flew, for about half an hour. Then the forest ended. We went first to the field. Then the settlement appeared. There is a cafe for passing cars at the entrance, and that's where we stopped. Sasha was barely shaking anymore, but he ordered vodka anyway. 10 minutes later, I still ventured to ask what had happened on the road, and I was already preparing to hear the most terrible thing. But my guesses, fortunately, were not justified. Everything was much worse and scarier. When Sasha got out of the car on the highway and went to look for that guy, he did not immediately find him. I turned behind the truck, and there was no one there. Sasha seemed to be about to leave. I thought that we had imagined everything from the heat and fatigue. But then I heard a low growl. Looking in the direction of the sound, Sasha was dumbfounded. The guy was no longer on the highway. There was a wide and deep ditch along the road. So this guy had already somehow managed to cross it and was standing near the forest near the bushes. Sashka did not see any bridge, crossing or log. How this guy got over 2.5 meters of water in his white trousers is not clear at all. Yes, he also stood with his hand beckoning. Let's go, they say, into the forest. And he was quietly growling, and his eyes were burning yellow. Sasha was almost paralyzed there at the sight of this sight. He picked up his legs and his arms and ticked from there until this monster devoured us all. I was stunned by my friend's story. It didn't fit in my head. Maybe I think I imagined it. After all, the kid is driving without a partner, tired and all that. But on the way back, we stopped at the same cafe and talked to a guy. He's a local. He works at a gas station. So he said that several cars had already been found on that highway. Empty, open, all the things are in place, but the owner is not there. The cops blamed everything on wild animals, bears and wolves. Like men, go to the forest in need, and there the animals devour them. Of course, no one will look for the true reason for the disappearance.
Ha!